Alicia Harper walked into the boardroom with quiet confidence. The billionaire family sneered, whispering behind their hands, mocking her age, her race, and her presence. Investors shifted in their seats, sensing tension they could not yet name. Alicia remained calm, her expression composed, every detail of her posture radiating control. Her calmness clashed sharply with her arrogance, making the room feel smaller, heavier. No one knew her full capability, the brilliance she carried hidden beneath her composed exterior. What happens when underestimation meets brilliance? No one expected. Alicia Harper began her morning reviewing reports with her father, analyzing financial statements and market trends with precision. She prepared for the day ahead, studying contracts and anticipating every possible tactic the other side might use. The boardroom was sleek and modern, glass walls reflecting the tension inside. The billionaire family arrived, their steps heavy with arrogance, voices dripping with subtle insults about her age, her race, her gender. Investors and staff exchanged uneasy glances, whispering quietly as the disrespect unfolded, but Alicia remained composed. She noticed every smirk, every patronizing tone, quietly calculating her responses. Her intelligence and resilience were apparent in her calm, her careful observations, and the way she held herself with unshakable dignity. Every detail, from her posture to the glint in her eye, hinted that she was more than they assumed. The moment Alicia entered the boardroom, the atmosphere shifted. The billionaire family exchanged quick, knowing glances, smirking behind polished hands. As the meeting began, they wasted no time undermining her. One leaned back arrogantly, dismissing her proposals with a laugh, and claiming she was too young to handle a deal of this magnitude. Another whispered that she only held her position because of her father, implying her achievements were undeserved. Their words were sharp, laced with subtle racism and sexist undertones, meant to intimidate and provoke. Investors shifted in their seats, sensing the tension but remaining silent, unwilling to challenge the powerful family. Alicia's expression stayed calm, composed, and unreadable. Her hands rested on the polished table, her posture straight, her eyes steady. Every mocking word, every smirk, only fueled the family's overconfidence. They interpreted her silence as weakness, as though she would crumble under their arrogance. Yet inside, Alicia's mind worked swiftly. She analyzed each comment, each hesitation, each flaw in their logic. She noted the cracks in their arguments, the overextensions in their confidence, and the subtle underestimation they made of her intelligence. She felt the sting of injustice, yet her control never wavered. Her calmness was deliberate, a silent warning they refused to read. The boardroom held its collective breath, waiting for her reaction, unaware that beneath her composed exterior was a brilliance that could dismantle their arrogance completely. What happens when arrogance blinds even the most powerful? The family leaned in, their smirks widening as they interrupted Alicia at every turn. They mocked her proposals, claiming the figures were unrealistic, and laughed at the bold strategies she suggested. One of them leaned back, fingers tapping the table, and said, "Are you sure you understand the scale of this deal?" Another whispered to a colleague, "She will fold under pressure, just watch." Alicia remained calm, her voice steady as she countered each interruption with precise data, market analysis, and financial insights the family could not immediately challenge. Her eyes scanned the room, noting every reaction, every faltering smile, every hint of doubt among the investors. Subtle but firm, her arguments began to expose flaws in the family's overconfidence. The tension grew thick, almost tangible, as the family's mocking tone met her unwavering composure. They called her ideas impossible and scoffed at her calm demeanor, trying to push her off balance. Yet Alicia remained unshaken, her quiet confidence more powerful than their noise. The investors, previously hesitant, began exchanging looks, curious and intrigued by the intelligence and poise of the young CEO's daughter. Each word she spoke carved through their arrogance, leaving them momentarily speechless. The boardroom, once filled with laughter at her expense, shifted into a silent battlefield of wit and strategy. Who really held the control? The loud, arrogant voices trying to dominate, or the quiet genius patiently dismantling their arrogance? The family's arrogance reached a new height. They leaned forward in their leather chairs, smirking, voices dripping with condescension. "Do you really think you can handle this, young lady?" One mocked, glancing at the investors as if to signal her incompetence. Another laughed softly. Perhaps your father overestimated your abilities. Are you sure you understand what is at stake? They interrupted her repeatedly, cutting off her points, attempting to dominate the room with noise and authority. Alicia remained perfectly still, her calm almost tangible, her expression composed yet sharp. She did not react to their provocations. Instead, she answered with concise, calculated precision, her words striking directly at the flaws in their assumptions. She referenced numbers, projections, and market analysis with a mastery that left little room for dispute. Every response highlighted the gap between her preparation and their arrogance. The room shifted subtly. Investors began exchanging glances, some whispering under their breath, quietly impressed by her intelligence and poise. Staff discreetly raised their phones, capturing the tension as it escalated, sensing that the confrontation could change the entire course of the meeting. The family grew visibly frustrated, their attempts to humiliate her only exposing their lack of foresight and overconfidence. Every sneer, every interruption, every condescending remark met with calm, unshakable authority, increasing the suspense. The audience could feel the invisible shift of power, the building storm of intellect versus entitlement. Alicia's quiet dominance began to fill the room. The once loud mocking family now appeared unsure, even vulnerable. They thought their billions, status, and arrogance made them untouchable. They believed intimidation could control the room. Yet they underestimated one critical factor: her skill, intelligence, and strategic mind. The question lingered in the air: who truly controlled the boardroom, the loud, entitled voices, or the calm, brilliant genius standing before them? They thought their wealth was enough, but they had no idea the magnitude of her power. Alicia's eyes scanned the room with calm intensity as she placed the final document on the polished boardroom table. Her fingers tapped lightly on the contract, drawing attention to a clause the family had overlooked. "If this section is not addressed," she stated evenly, "the projected $750 million gain could easily become a massive liability." A ripple ran through the room. The family exchanged hurried whispers, their smirks fading as the gravity of the oversight settled in. Faces flushed with tension. They realized their arrogance had blinded them to critical details that Alicia had anticipated and prepared for. Investors leaned forward, pens poised, eyes fixed on Alicia as every word she spoke highlighted not just the risk, but her unmatched command over the situation. The family tried to interject, stammering excuses, but Alicia's presence was unyielding. Every pause, every pointed remark magnified the suspense. Staff subtly adjusted their cameras and phones, capturing the moment where power and intellect collided with unchecked entitlement. The atmosphere was electric. The quiet genius of Alicia radiated across the room, contrasting sharply with the faltering confidence of the billionaires. Her calm precision amplified the fear building among them. Investors whispered among themselves, weighing every implication, sensing that the deal, their fortunes, and the family's reputation all teetered on the edge of collapse. Alicia's poise did not waver. Each gesture, each carefully chosen word, signaled that she was not just defending a deal. She was asserting dominance, turning the tide of the room with quiet authority. The family's arrogance met the unstoppable force of her preparation, and the boardroom held its breath, waiting for the inevitable unraveling. Alicia stood, her posture steady, as she laid out the terms of the contract with precision. Each clause, each figure, highlighted the flaws the family had ignored, exposing how their $750 million deal could collapse if fairness and proper procedure were not observed. The room grew tense as the family's smug confidence crumbled. They whispered among themselves, trying to regain control, but the investors, now fully attentive, shifted their allegiance. Murmurs of agreement spread across the boardroom, eyes locking on Alicia with a mix of respect and awe. She spoke firmly, her voice cutting through the panic. Power is earned through competence, not mockery. Her words resonated, echoing the truth of the moment. The family's attempts to defend their arrogance faltered. Their smirks vanished, replaced by pale expressions of fear and disbelief. Staff discreetly recorded every moment, capturing the undeniable humiliation of the once dominant family. Alicia's calm authority left no room for counterattack. One by one, the investors nodded, some applauding softly, signaling the nullification of the deal. The $750 million agreement that had seemed untouchable now lay in ruins, a direct result of the family's underestimation and mockery. The room was silent except for the sound of papers shifting and distant murmurs of admiration. Alicia's eyes swept the room, meeting those of every investor and onlooker. Her composure unbroken, her victory complete. The arrogant family sat defeated, their public humiliation undeniable, forced to confront the reality that mockery and prejudice held no weight against skill, intelligence, and calm determination. The emotional impact was tangible. The audience could feel the satisfaction of justice served. Alicia's quiet strength and strategic brilliance had turned the tables entirely, leaving the family to absorb the full measure of their arrogance collapsing in front of everyone. Calm returned to the boardroom as Alicia gathered her papers with steady hands, her posture composed and unshaken. Investors who had watched in awe now approached, offering nods of respect and quiet congratulations. The arrogant family exited in silence, each step heavy with the realization that their prejudice and mockery had cost them the $750 million deal and their dignity. Alicia remained poised, her victory not in anger, but in skill, intelligence, and courage. The room absorbed the lesson. True authority is earned through respect and competence, never entitlement or cruelty. She looked around once more, her calm gaze leaving a lasting impression on everyone present. Justice was served. But if you were in her place, would you have shown mercy or demanded retribution?